Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we're looking at 10 players who have found a new level in the early weeks of 2023-24. Let's get into it. 10. Achraf Hakimi. Their 4-1 drumming at the hands of Newcastle aside, it's just possible that Paris Saint-Germain might be turning into a serious club. The departure of Lionel Messi makes the squad less top-heavy than before, and the additions of hard-working forwards like Gonzalo Ramos and Randal Kolo Muani will help the balance, as will a genuine destroyer in Manuel Ugarte, and solid possession defenders like Milan Skriniar and Lucas Hernandez. Ousmane Dembele has also been sensational in the early weeks for Luis Enrique, but it's Achraf Hakimi who has really blossomed under the Spanish coach. As well as 5 goals and assists in 8 games behind only Mbappe in the squad, he's somehow filling the hole left by Verratti, creating 2 chances a match, as well as equaling Rodri and Toni Kroos for passes into the final third and hitting nearly 12 progressive passes, the latter leading in Europe. Also in the top 2% in his position for outlet balls received, shots and carries into the box, the Moroccan is arguably the best attacking fullback in the game, and he even helps out defensively, recovering the ball enough to place in the top quarter of wide defenders. With a coach capable of getting the dressing room in check, PSG just need to build patiently and they could have something exciting on their hands. Hakimi can be part of that foundation. 9. Julian Brandt. Julian Brandt's time at Borussia Dortmund has been up and down. Dumped into midfield, the German's middling output almost saw him leave for Arsenal or Liverpool, but he's now restored not just to the starting lineup but to the attack, playing on both sides and in the hole so far this season, and producing 6 goals in 7 appearances as a consequence, with XG per 90 of 0.7 an all-time high, putting him on track to beat his already impressive record of 17 goals and assists in each of his last 2 campaigns. Highly touted as a wide man in his youth at Bayer Leverkusen, Brandt has crept over 2 shots a game for the first time since 2019, while 3.3 chances created a match is by far his best ever, and roughly the same as Kevin De Bruyne. And with a higher position, Brandt is getting licensed to take risks again, with exciting consequences. Yes, a decrease in pass and dribble completion, but more touches in the box and shots coming from 16 yards out, instead of 18 he's averaged across his career. Still unbeaten, but down in 4th, Dortmund need a solid year to fend off rivals new and old in Leverkusen, Leipzig and Stuttgart. Lucky for them, veterans like Royce and Brandt are setting an example. 8. Mohamed Camara. Right now, Monaco's place at the top of Ligue 1 looks fortunate, given their numbers are 4th best in France. But there are real positives. As well as youngsters like Akliouche and Matazo coming through, Folarin Balogun has bolstered a front line already boasting Ben Yedder and the in-form Minamino. And in midfield, Youssouf Fofana has experienced support in Zakaria and Golovin, but also a potential long-term partner, Mohamed Camara. It's his 2nd year at Monaco after a €15 million switch from Salzburg, and the Malian has clearly settled in. Distribution is improving, from 5 final third passes to over 7 a game, and he's creating more chances while increasing his pass accuracy from 87% to 94%, a very good sign. He also wins possession far more than Fofana, and while he hasn't found his dribbling groove, only beating his man a quarter of the time, he is driving into the danger zone more than anyone else in the squad, and getting fouled more than he fouls too. Now, we don't expect a trophy for the Monegasque. Nice's squad is far more exciting, PSG stacked to the rafters, but a return to Champions League football would be a welcome boon for a side which hasn't been there in 4 years. And with a great coach in Adi Hutter and plenty of pre-peak talent, another special team could be taking place on the south coast. 7. Edison. No, not that Edison. We're talking about the Brazilian midfielder at Atalanta in his 2nd season under Gasperini after moving from Salernitana in 2022. 24 years old, he's become a nailed-on starter alongside Darun and Koopmeiners after just 25 starts last campaign, and he's a key part of the Bergamo outfit's change from an attacking whirlwind to a defensive powerhouse, the club allowing just 5.6 XG through 8 games, 2nd lowest in Italy and 4th in Europe's top 5 leagues. That's because Edison is making an extraordinary 5.3 tackles and interceptions per 90, up from 4.2 in 2022-23, and he's also stepped up his passing since the departure of Ruslan Malinovsky, doubling his progressive passes. That's impressive given he's playing a more reserved game, with his tackles and touches coming deeper on the field, and he clearly gets the responsibility, mopping up loose balls more often, carrying the ball up the centre and both contesting and winning more headers. It appears that in Edison, Gasperini has polished another gem, and bigger sides will be watching. 6. James Maddison. Everyone agrees that James Maddison was a great signing for Spurs. A peak-age homegrown attacker proven in the league and in a position of need, he ticked every box. And for just £46 million, it was exactly the kind of feel-good purchase the Lily Whites needed, sugaring the pill of record goalscorer Harry Kane's relocation to Munich. But we're not sure anyone saw the new number 10 performing at this level so quickly. With 7 goals and assists, Maddison has forced himself into the Odegaard-Fernandes tier of playmakers, and at his present rate, he'd break his own record for Premier League goal involvements of 20 by match week 24. He's either taken or created a third of all of Spurs' shots in the Premier League this campaign, and on top of that, he's doubled his progressive passes and put up career-high dribble stats, as well as winning 3 free kicks a game for his side. With Madison running things, Spurs are leading the league for open play XG and shots after 8 weeks, and somehow sit top of the table. Talk about exceeding expectations. 5. Samuel Lino. Brazilian youngster Samuel Lino returned to Atletico Madrid this summer after a decent loan at Valencia, but frankly it was surprising that he stayed, let alone that he's now excelling. The 23-year-old played mostly in attack for Los Che, but has been dragooned into the left wing-back slot by Simeone, where he's acquitted himself well, putting up 3 goals and assists in 3 starts, and somehow doubling his XG to 0.6 per 90 despite his deeper spot. That puts him almost halfway to last season's total of 7 goal contributions. But not only has Samuel shown end product, he's been busy out of possession too. 4.6 tackles and interceptions per 90 is second in Atleti's squad, while his staggering 85% tackle success rate leads it. And while both might be too good to last, his progressive carry stats are building on last year's promise, with a whopping 5 a game placing him in the top 1% of fullbacks. It would even make the top 10% of attackers. With numbers just as good as Real's and a more rounded roster than ever, Atleti might be due another title challenge this season. For them to get close, squad players like Samuel will have to continue showing their class. 4. Joao Felix. After 4 goals in 20 for Chelsea, it seems Joao Felix had blown his last shot at a top career, but the Portuguese somehow wriggled out of Madrid and into the Camp Nou over the summer, though only on a 1-year loan. It seemed like the switch was only a product of Felix's public manoeuvring, rather than a real self-belief he could become good. But the 23-year-old is only just outside the most used Barca XI so far, playing more minutes than Rafinha or Ferran Torres. In that time, he's been sensational, with 0.8 XG per 90, the best of his time in Spain and only behind Lewandowski. What's more, his 2 goal involvements shortchanges his performances, underlying stats suggesting he should be closer to 4 in 5 starts. Let off the leash in a ball-dominant team, he's hitting career-best numbers for passing, defending, ball carrying and receiving. And it's clear that he's finally got the role he wanted, only getting around 12 touches more a game than he did at Atletico, but twice as many in the final third. It may feel like he's been around forever, but Felix is younger than Eberici Eze, Eddie Nketiah and Randal Kolo Muani. If he can turn this temporary move into a permanent one, stardom could yet be possible. 3. Alexander Isak. With Champions League football back at St James's Park for the first time since Alan Shearer was leading the line, it's appropriate that the team has a great striker lighting up their season. Alexander Isak has 6 goals already this season, trailing only Haaland in the Prem, and he's registered a staggering 0.9 XG per 90, topping his previous best in a top 5 league of 0.7, achieved with Sociedad in 2020-21 when he eventually bagged 19 goal involvements. At 23, it's not surprising to see Isak leap forward, and promisingly he's up to 3.3 shots a game, good for the top third of strikers and his best tally outside the Netherlands. But he's also managing a career best pass accuracy at nearly 80%, and he's in the top 12% in his position for dribbles and passes into the box, and in the top 4% for dribbles into the penalty area, driving his team into the danger zone again and again, with the result that Newcastle are putting up 2.2 XG per game compared to 1.9 last term. With underlying numbers every bit as good as Arsenal and City so far, and a tougher schedule than either, the Magpies can afford to dream big. And Isak going supernova would go a long way to ending a 69-year wait for major silverware. The young Swede looks to be keeping his end of the bargain. 2. Granit Xhaka. Coming off 7 goals and 7 assists in 33 games last season, it seemed Granit Xhaka at the age of 30 was unlikely to hit a new gear. The Swiss spent much more time in the final third as Arsenal romped into the title race, with a third of his touches there compared to 1/5 in the 2 previous campaigns. So when he completed a €21 million switch to Bayer Leverkusen, it was unclear what boss Xabi Alonso had in mind for the veteran. Firmly installed back in midfield, Xhaka has been a revelation. So far, he's completing 93 passes a game, more than twice the number he did under Arteta, while he leads Europe for passes into the final third and ranks 6th for progressive passes, as well as playing the ball into the penalty area as often as Saka or Salah. He's also winning more tackles and carrying the ball forward more, while losing it less, helping Leverkusen to 23 goals in 7 games, matching Bayern for the best record in the top 5 leagues to date. Famously without a title in their history, Leverkusen could end that jinx on their 120th birthday next summer. And as someone who's rebuilt his career from miserable depths at Arsenal, Xhaka could be the perfect man to lead them. 1. Julian Alvarez. With De Bruyne sidelined and Mahrez gone to Saudi, Manchester City needed someone to step up alongside Erling Haaland this campaign, and Julian Alvarez has arguably been the league's informed player through the opening 2 months. The Argentinian won the treble and the World Cup in 2022-23, but on a personal level he still had something to prove, playing just 67% of Argentina's minutes as they won a 3rd international crown and just 43% of City's league game time. It's only taken 8 weeks for him to make his point. Already, the 23-year-old has 6 goal involvements for 1 every 110 minutes, while his 3.3 shots per game and 2.6 key passes sit 2nd and 3rd in the squad respectively. But he's also good at breaking up play, committing more tactical fouls than any other City forwards, and he's got more efficient on the ball too, losing possession less often than players like Gavardio and Bernardo Silva, a great way to endear himself to Pep Guardiola. Already requiring just 3 more goal involvements to beat last year's tally, Alvarez is coming at age at the perfect time for the citizens. And alongside Haaland and Doku, he could help carry the club into a post-Guardiola future. So that was our look at 10 players who have started the season on fire, but who do we miss? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe to Football Daily if you haven't already, with notifications switched on so you never miss a video. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.